Now you have seen the different types of functions, that is library function and user defined function. Now you are familiar with the definition. Next we will see the concept behind writing function definition. Before going to write a function, you must understand what is a function type or function return type. What is a function name? Function name. And what is meant by arguments in function? And what is meant by body of the function? And what is a return value? So these are the 5 components that constitute a function. These are the 5 components. Now what is function return type? So return type is actually function return type is actually the value that is returning or the value that we will get from the function. For example, consider a real-time scenario. You want to find out the answer for this question. So 5 is the answer, is it? Everybody will be agree. So this is the return value of this question. Similarly, consider another question like 5 into 4. What is the answer? So 20. 20 is actually the return value. Okay. Similarly, do you have a pen? This is another question that you can ask. Do you have a pen? The answer is either yes or no. So this is the return type. So in this case, for the first question, the return type is a value. We have a value. For the second question also we have a return value, and for the third question also we have a return value. In the first 2 cases they are integers, they are whole numbers. What about third case? In the third case it is a yes or no answer. Okay, so this is actually what is meant by return type. So return type means the value that we will get from the function, the value that we will get from the function, okay. Now in some cases we may get some value, but in some other cases we may not get some value. Okay, so functions has, sometimes it has a return type, sometimes it may not return anything, So based on this we can say functions with a return value and functions without a return value. Okay, so these are the 2 categories of functions. Based on what? Based on the return type. Function sometimes may return a value, sometimes it may not return a value. So if it returns a value, we will call it as a functions with a return value, and if it is not returning anything, then we can call it as functions without return value. Okay, so that is all about return type. Now we will see what is meant by function name. That is the next point we want to discuss. Function name. What is a function name? Function name can be anything. So a function name can be anything means what? A function name can be anything means a function must have a name. A function must have a name. For example, suppose you are going to write a value to the screen. You can name that function as display. Suppose you are going to read something from the keyboard. In that case, you can name that function as read. Sometimes you want to perform multiplication inside a function. You can name that function as multiply. Okay, all these are valid function names. So anyway, a function must have a value, must have a name. Okay, it can be it can be formed by using group of characters like this. Okay, and what is next? Next we have arguments. That is the third one. So these two we have seen. What is argument? Argument means, let us consider the previous case. So in this case, consider this case. In this case, we are passing two values, which is 2 and 3. So this 2 and 3 are called, in this case 2 and 3 are called arguments. That means this is the value, these are the two values that we want to process. Okay. Similarly, in this case, this is the question. Do you have a pen? That is the question. Okay, we can say that is that can act as an argument. Okay, similarly in the second case, 5 and 4 are the arguments. Okay, that means when you want to find out the solution, or when you want to find out the answer for a subtask, we may pass some value. We may pass some values to that subtask, and those values are called arguments. The values that we pass to the subtask are called arguments. Okay, so that is all about arguments. Now, what is the body of the function? Body of the function means, body means that is the body of the function, a place where all processing statements are written. Processing statements are written. A place where we write all processing statements. Okay, the program that we have seen inside the double brackets, what we will write some processing statements. So this will constitute the body of the function. And the last point is return value. What is return value? In the previous question we have seen 5 is the return value, is it? And 20 here in the second one, 20 is the return value. Now another question may arise: what is the difference between function return type and function return value? Okay, this is actually the type. Okay, and this is actually the value. That is the difference between the first and the last component. Both are same. This is function return type, but this is function return value. So here we will mention the type, here we will mention the actual value. Okay, clear? Now we will see how to write a function in C.